Guys, welcome to my channel Medico Sports. So now I am explaining neuromuscular transmission, which is a very important essay question for both BDS and MBBS students. So let's get into the topic. So what is neuromuscular transmission? Any skeletal muscle got stimulated by a nerve. So neuromuscular junction act as a transmitter between the nerve and the skeletal muscle. So these transmission of impulse from nerve to skeletal muscle through neuromuscular junction is called as neuromuscular transmission. It undergoes through a series of events like this: the release of acetylcholine by nerve terminals and so on. So I will explain each event in a step-by-step process. So I think you all know the basic terminology of nerve. Like this is the synaptic knob, which is the end point of the neuron. Like this is the myelinated axon, which got unmyelinated and it splits into number of branches and end in a knob-like structure called as the synaptic knob, or you can say the terminal button. So it's the last called as terminal and it is button like structure, so it is called as terminal button or synaptic knob. So the layer which is lined by the which is lining the terminal button or synaptic knob is called as presynaptic membrane, and the surrounding there is a muscular fold, or you can say these junctional folds. This is called as postsynaptic membrane. So many people have the doubt that what is motor end plate. Motor end plate is nothing but the thickened portion of postsynaptic membrane is called as motor end plate. So let's go into the first step after learning this basic terminology, that is the release of acetylcholine by the nerve terminals. So what happens is that when there is a nerve impulse or action potential traveling in the nerve fiber axon reaches this terminal button, the voltage gated calcium channels got opened and the calcium ions which is present in extracellular fluid enter into the synaptic knob. So these elevated level of calcium triggers the exocytosis of the acetylcholine which is present inside the synaptic knob. So you can see these are the acetylcholine which got exocytoted, means they released into the synaptic cleft. So these acetylcholine which are present now in the synaptic cleft enters into the junctional folds, or you can say the postsynaptic membrane, and binds to the acetylcholine receptors. So when these acetylcholine binds to acetylcholine receptors, it leads to the influx of sodium channels from extracellular fluid into the junctional fold, and this leads to the development of end plate potential, which is a third step. So binding of acetylcholine to acetylcholine receptors is the second event, and the development of end plate potential means the influx of sodium. Many people have the doubt, what is end plate potential? End plate potential is nothing but voltage which causes depolarization. Actually, the influx of sodium ions means there is an increase in positive charge. So what is the resting membrane potential is minus 70 MV. So these resting membrane potential with the increase of positive charge, these leads to depolarization, and depolarization then leads to the development of action potential. So this development of end plate potential is the third event. So we get completed the three events, and so I want to explain this, which we learn in the 12th classes also. This is a very important graph. So what happens is that from resting membrane potential, there is an influx of sodium and it leads to depolarization and development of action potential, and then due to the opening of potassium gated channels, there is influx of more potassium and it leads to more negativity as the sodium channels are closed. So it leads to the decrease in the potential, so it leads to hyperpolarization. So please draw this graph in your exam so that you can get some extra points. So we completed the three stages is the development of end plate potential. Let's go into the fourth event, that is the removal of acetylcholine by cholinesterase. So how the acetylcholine which is present in the synaptic cleft got removed? Actually, the acetylcholine released in the synaptic cleft stays for a very short period and is removed within 1 millisecond. In two ways, I can say in two ways. So what happens is that acetylcholine is destroyed by the enzyme acetylcholine esterase, which is present in the matrix of synaptic cleft. You should write this point, please do remember this. and a small amount of acetylcholine got diffused out of the synaptic cleft, means it goes out of the synaptic cleft, so it is no longer available to the muscle fiber membrane. So these are the events that occur in the neuromuscular transmission. You can also learn the drugs affecting and the disorders of neuromuscular junction. So the main disorder is myasthenia gravis, so you should learn about it and some drugs also. So this is my lecture about neuromuscular transmission. If you write all the points what I said, you can score very high marks and good in your exams. So thank you for watching my video. Please do subscribe and hit a big thumbs up.